What's up, everybody? Well, I got another gameplay video for you guys today, this time on the TV PC, and we're gonna finish up Black Myth Wukong, so I can finally get to actually playing it. So, we're just gonna do what we did on the secondary computer and on the main computer, and then we're gonna just finally be done with it. I'm excited to play, so I like making the benchmarks and everything, but when I'm excited for a game, it's like, man, I just want to play. If I don't want to get too far and ruin anything for anybody, or just get stuck on a boss and end up being, all right, let's fight him, instantly die. All right, let's go back and fight, instantly die. You know, that's not fun either. So, why don't we now stop wasting time and let's get into the game. All right, here we go with the settings on the TV PC. Now, we're pretty much just gonna copy the secondary and main, secondary PC and the main PC. So we're gonna start off with full ray tracing, very high, with the high settings. And let's see how it stacks up compared to the main PC. All right, we averaged 27, a max of 32, minimum 21, and a low fifth of 23. So it was very close to the main PC, but the main PC, I think, beat it in minimum slightly, but by like 1 or 2 FPS. But let's go hop into the game now. All right, here we are in game. And yeah, this looks pretty much carbon copy of what it was like playing on my main PC. A lot of the times they would be very close, even though the 1300 KF is quite a bit more powerful than the X3D 5800X. But still, in a lot of games, the 5800 X3D could still win, so. And then sometimes the TV PC is the smoothest out of all of them. It might not get the highest FPS, but a lot of the times it gets the smoothest frame times out of anything. Though I don't know if that happens here. This game still might have like some little stutters here and there that didn't really show up much on the Asus G50 Advantage and the secondary AMD PC. But we'll have to wait and see. So many rabbits. Although I guess they could be hares. Hares are bigger than rabbits. As a kid, I thought they were the same damn thing and it was just a nickname, you know? Anyway, moving on. Now, for the next test, we're going to just run cinematic. So, all right, let's run that bench. Well, this time around we got 48, a maximum of 57. We got a minimum of 39, a low fifth of 44, and 9.6 gigs of VRAM used. So not too bad. Pretty much matching the main PC. But anyway, let's move on. All right, here we are in the game. I didn't even realize this, but it looks like it did that bullshit where it didn't record sound. So even Shadowplay can fuck up sometimes. It had sound the whole time. Hell, I remember every time I'd go into the game, my whole entire apartment would shake because of all the bass. I love this frickin' sound system on this TV. It might not be the best. There's obviously far, far better, but for what it costed, it packs quite a healthy punch. Especially considering I didn't have a lot of room. I didn't think a soundbar could sound so good. But obviously it will never compete with a real setup, with like a real amplifier, with real speakers and this, that, and the other thing. But that would have also taken up more space and costed probably like $2-3 grand more. Though I'm sure somebody could still build a system that would be way better than this. I think I spent like $1,800. Yeah, give somebody like a audiophile $1,800 and they'd probably produce something way, way, way better. But for someone like me who's a noob, I like the plug and play. And most importantly, the space saving. Well, now, let's move on to the next graphic setting. Alright, on to the next test. Everything here is still exactly the same. So let's pop over to the graphics, and we're going to do very high now, at 100%. 4K, We'll do DLSS at the end with some frame gen, but for now we're just doing native 4K. So, let's get back to the game. Well, first a quick benchmark, obviously. Well, we averaged 55 FPS this time with a max of 67, a minimum of 43, and a low fifth of 50. With 9.8 gigs of VRAM used, and there's all of the settings. Here we go, very high. Again, sorry there's no sound. I did not realize that. Usually Shadowplay doesn't fuck up like this either. But a couple of times now it has on that computer. Maybe it doesn't like the Atmos or the surround sound messes with this Shadowplay recording. I don't know. But it doesn't happen in every game. But at least, again, that's why I like the camera record portion. As long as my microphone doesn't break, there will be sound. And it can't affect the FPS in any way, although I don't think Shadowplay or Relive affects it too much. I think it's like 1 or 2 FPS, if that. I think they just have like a built-in like encoder or something. I could be wrong though. I don't know how none of that stuff works. That's just how I had explained from a video I watched to try to at least understand it a little bit. But I'm not one of those people that goes, oh, I watched one video, I'm an expert. That's foolish. I just like watching videos and learning. Man, that CPU is chilly. Anyway, moving along. Now for just high settings. There we go. Let's run that benchmark. Well, we averaged 74 FPS this time. Got a max 86, a minimum of 60, a low fifth of 66, and 9.3 gigs of VRAM used. So if you want to just play at 100% with no DLSS, this is probably the way to go. All right, here we go. Get ourselves just a little bit of gameplay here. I think it's time for another hit. And a drink. Which I almost dropped on the floor, but caught it. Ooh, there was like some weird line going through the grass back there. I don't know if you guys caught that. But yeah, more than acceptable FPS. Now again, there's probably some parts of the game where it'll still drop a little under 60 with these settings, but that'll probably be few and far and in between. Or at least so I think. Maybe I'll get owned in the face once I start playing the game and walk out of this little beginning area. But anyway, moving right along. Now we'll drop it down to medium, which I don't think I would play on a system like this, but hey, there's some people who might, so I want to try to cover as many bases as I can, without making the video 10 hours long anyway. So, to that bench. Well, this time around we averaged 89, got a max of 102, minimum of 74, low fifth of 78, 8.2 gigs of VRAM used, and then here's all the settings and whatnot. Alright, with that, let's go get a little gameplay in. Here is the medium gameplay now. So let's just run around a little, go up to our little pond area, and then we'll move on to low. Sucks the sound didn't work. This game has great audio. But at least you guys will hear a little bit of it when we get to the camera recorded gameplay. I don't know how well that thing's audio picks up. I should probably get a little bit higher quality mic for the camera recorded portions. It's not a bad mic, but it's just nothing special either. It's just like a $100, what was it, Rode Mic Go 2 or something like that. It has some goofy name. But Rode seemed to make good stuff, so I was like, screw it. Well now, time for low. Well now, let's do low settings now. Still at 100% 4K. But still, some people might want to do 4K and low. I wouldn't do this, but that doesn't mean nobody will. Well, we averaged 108, got a max of 130, a minimum of 79, a low fifth of 98, and 7.4 gigs of VRAM used. Alright, let's get into the game. Alright, here we go with low. Yeah, low definitely doesn't do this game any favors. Now that line is still there. Interesting. I wonder if that's always been there and I just notice it more on lower settings. That could be. Now let's move along. Now we're going to do a little, not FSR, DLSS. I almost called it FSR. But nope, this is DLSS. And we're going to do quality, and then we'll do frame gen next. We're going to do the cinematic just like we did on the main PC. So let's go see how it does. All right, so we averaged 69 FPS. Nice. 79 max. Minimum of 56, so that's where the main PC won. I think that stayed minimum of 60. Now, with VRR, probably wouldn't notice that, but a win is still a win to the main PC on that one. Well, now let's get some DLSS gameplay in now. It couldn't quite beat out the main PC with the minimums there, but everything else was pretty close. But yeah, that's why I don't really mind running this 5800X3D with this 4090. Most of the time, it doesn't really get in the way. At least not in a way that could be like, oh my god, this game is now unplayable. I mean, at least in this little run through, I don't think we drop under 60. But since we still did, it means there's probably some spots that might. Or that's the FPS we can't see. I wish I could get this thing's like average and minimum thing to actually work properly. Everyone else's seems to work, but whenever I try it, it just like stops. And never really moves. Although maybe they're using like the HW Info version. I'm just using the Afterburner one, so maybe that's all it is. Alright, let's gather this. And now, let us go move on to frame gen. Alright, last up here, we're going to do ourselves a little frame gen. With DLSS still on quality, of course. No ray tracing though, and then still cinematic settings. So, a quick benchmark real fast. Alright, now this time around we got 104 average, a max of 118, a minimum of 90, and a low fifth of 95, 10 gigs of VRAM used. So, with that, let's get into the game. Now let's get ourselves some gameplay here. Now, on the main PC, we got up to that water and it had some weird frame times. Now, I think this does that a little bit, but nothing like the main PC does. So I don't know what the hell was going on with that. And I'd say this was one of the few instances where this PC took the win. But the main PC still wins on minimums, though. That extra single core performance seems to help. And maybe the extra DDR5 RAM speed, too. This thing does have 7200 megahertz DDR5, or the main PC. This thing only has 3600 DDR4. I mean, it's older, doesn't have DDR5 yet. And that's okay. It still does pretty damn good without it, in my opinion. But yeah, the main PC is 7200 T-Force or something like that, and I tightened up the timings a little bit, trying to get a little bit better minimums. And I guess it paid off. Still not quite as crazy as the people that have the KS and the 8000 plus RAM and all that stuff, but all that costs so much extra money, I just didn't really feel like wasting all of it and tearing my whole thing apart. Now, if I was building a whole new one, sure, but I don't need to tear all my stuff apart for minor upgrades like that. That's why I didn't upgrade to 14th gen either. But now for camera. Alright, let's get ourselves some camera recorded gameplay now. Curious to see if it does what the main computer did, where it just started getting really stuttery all of a sudden. I don't know if that's a 4090 thing, a 13th gen Intel thing, or just the game being wonky itself randomly. Who's to say? It's a bunny. Alright, I think right about here is where it started just having really bad stutters on my main PC. So far so good on this one here. I mean, there's tiny itty bitty little ones, but nothing like what was happening on the main PC. It was almost acting like my Alienware laptop does. Alright, there's a teeny bit of weird frame times there, but again, nothing like the one, or nothing like what happened on my main computer. That was so weird. No rhyme or reason to it, as far as I can tell. At first I thought it was FrameGen's fault, so then I decided, hey, let's just turn that off real quick and we'll know. And it still didn't solve the problem. Although maybe I would have had to load the whole place. Who knows? But yeah, this game definitely looks pretty damn awesome. especially on this big ass TV. I'm definitely playing it on here. Alright, and with that, let's go wrap this video on up. Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Black Myth Wukong on the TV PC here. And that's a wrap for the game altogether. Unless they come out with some patch or something that increases, you know, everything tenfold, then of course we'll test it. And then of course if AMD releases a driver for it, I'll test it on them too. I don't know if I'll go through all this rigmarole again, but we'll definitely test it a little bit. But in any case, it is like 5 in the morning, so I'm gonna finish this video up and I'm gonna go hit the hay. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, cause I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.